Okay, good day mga bata. Good day everyone. So for this lesson, we will be discussing about the pressure variations in pressure or pressure variations. Okay? So ito yung kasunod na topic and also some of the one of the fundamental concepts na kailangan nating maintindihan dito sa fluid statics, fluid mechanics. Okay? So first, redefine natin or recall natin kung ano yung pressure na alam natin. So si pressure, this is a simply kung ano ba yung amount of force acting to an area. So kung ang area natin ay hindi defined, kumbaga hindi fixed yung shape, ginagamitan natin yun ng calculus. Okay? So in first principles, the formula itself for this one ay derived talaga from calculus. Well, this formula is applicable given that yung liquid natin is continuum. So, pag sinabi natin continuum, all throughout dun sa buong container or kung ano man yung kinoconsider natin na fluid, collectively, ina-assume natin pare-parehas yung na-experience nila. Kumbaga, this one particular atom, kung ano yung na-experience niya, yung katabi niya, or lahat nung nandoon sa particular location na yon, iisa yung na-experience. So, yun ang, kumbaga, constraint kung gagamitin natin yung formula na to. Hindi na natin kinoconsider yung pagkakaiba ng bawat atom, kinoconsider na natin pare-parehas sila nung na-experience. Which in real life, sa totoo lang, medyo may pagkakaiba yan, but syempre, pag talagang masyado nating kinonsider lahat yon, magiging complicated yung mga pag-analyze natin. So, therefore, pinapasimplify natin yan, but do not worry, malapit naman sa katotohanan yung sagot yan. So, again, alam natin yung pressure na yan that is defined by a force over area. Okay? So, wherein yung area is kung ano yung definite or finite area kung saan nandoon naka-apply yung force. So, ini-spread natin si force, yun yung pressure. Okay? So, common unit ng pressure, yung pascals, megapascal, kilopascal, MPa, GPa. Derive yan mula dun sa Newton per meter squared, Newton per mm squared, and so on and so forth. So, mahalaga na familiar tayo sa mga units na yan. Okay? Then, define naman natin yung Pascal's law kasi dito naka-anchor yung ating magiging concept. Okay? So, importante yung Pascal's law na yan. So, sabi ni Pascal, nalaman niya. Okay? Although may mga nauna na sa kanya, siya yung pinaka nag-define nito. Sabi niya yung intensity of the pressure acting at a point in a fluid is the same in all direction. So, ibig sabihin, may fluid tayo dito. Kung siya ay nag-exert ng force na 10 kPa pataas, across all direction, same yung pinupush niya or yung ginagawa niyang ina-apply niyang force yung in-exert niya. So this is contrary on our knowledge sa mga general things, yung mga force, 'di ba? Usually yung mga force na alam natin, papunta lang dito yung direction, 'di ba? Either pa upward lang sa mga trusses, either compression lang, either tension lang. Pero dito sa liquid, yung force na ina-apply niya, the same. Kumbaga nag-i-exert siya across all direction. So ano yung importansya ng pagkakaalam natin? So what is the importance of us knowing that the fluid exert that force across all direction? So what happens is, for our analysis, okay, yung mga inaaral natin, the liquids we are studying here in hydraulics are all incompressible. Okay? So the scope of our discussion all throughout this semester, the liquids we will be studying are all incompressible. What do we mean by incompressible? So hindi nako-compress. Basically, the physical characteristic of an incompressible fluid is that, for example, nag-push tayo, di ba? Ito na lang, let's say we have a container we push the atoms or yung liquid dito sa taas, we applied a force there. So, nag-apply tayo ng force sa taas. That atom is sobrang compressed na sila, kaya nga hindi na sila makompress pa eh. They cannot be compressed anymore. They are incompressible because they are compressed enough already. So kapag tinulak natin tong part na to, that force will transfer all throughout the body of the liquid. So example, nagtulak tayo, nag-apply tayo ng force dito na 10 kPa, because the liquid is incompressible, that force will travel all throughout the body. And you will see that that particular force, 10 kPa, will be transferred dito ng buo. So if it's 10 kilopascal we applied at this point, at the other point, dun sa kabilang part, okay, that point on the other side of the container will also experience the same force. So imagine mo ha, imagine that you are in a place with a lot of crowd. So let's say nasa isang concert ka. Okay? You are in a concert with so many people na sobrang siksikan. They are compressed. Okay? A lot of people is in the same place. Imagine yung nasa dulo. Imagine the person at the back was pushed. Tinulak mo yon. Kapag ginawa mo yon, anong mararamdaman ng nasa unahan? Dahil siksikan na kayo, affected. Everyone will be affected of that simple push at the back. So that's what is happening on the liquid. One force applied on the other side will be felt as a whole on the other part of the liquid. So matutulak yan. So regardless of the direction. So yun ang importante doon. Regardless of the direction. Pataas, okay, upward, downward, left, right. That force will be transferred undiminished. Hindi mababawasan. Buo yan. So that particular concept will have lots of application. So yung applications na yan ay may encounter natin as we study towards the mga kasunod, okay, the succeeding topics. So ano ba yung isa sa application of this particular scenario? Okay? So imagine this thing. Tingnan natin. Okay. So imagine this thing. So let's look at this illustration that explains the Pascal law. So in Pascal's law, example, we applied a force at this point. Okay? Look at this. Naglagay tayo dyan ng force. Let's say this is point A. Right? This is point A. That force will be spread at this point. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, so meaning, this part will have this pressure 1. According to Pascal's law, the force will be transferred undiminished in all direction because the fluid is incompressible. Okay? Unlike clay, wherein if you push on one side of the clay, you will notice that the other side will be unaffected at all. Because the clay can be compressed. It is not compressed enough. So the liquid does not act the same. So when we push this one side, the other side will definitely budge. So gagalaw yan dahil sa force na in-apply natin. Now, we applied a force 1 at this point. Okay? And it will feel this certain pressure 1. Now, this force 1, okay, which produces this pressure 1 at this point, that pressure will travel all throughout this part. And, okay? So, because of the Pascal's law, the pressure at this point and the pressure at this point will be the same because the fluid is incompressible. So, imagine, pressure 1 and pressure 2, which is at this point, this is pressure 2, point 2 rather, the pressure at those 2 points will be equal. Ngayon, dahil equal yung pressure dun sa dalawang point na yon, kahit dahil sa mas malaki, because this part has larger area, it can carry larger force. So yan yung science behind, that's the science behind hydraulic jacks or the reason why we can carry heavier objects kahit na maliit lang, even though we only have a small machine. So yan yung principle ng mga hydraulic jacks. So gumagamit tayo ng pressure ng liquid to carry heavy objects by using only a small amount of force. Okay? So again, this is the takeaway. Ito yung key takeaway natin kay Pascal's law. Because the fluid is incompressible, okay? And the force is transferred undiminished in all direction. The pressure we applied at one point, at this point, will be transferred as a whole on the other point at the same elevation. Okay? Basta magka-connect yung liquid, as long as the liquids are connected and they are in the same elevation, the pressure will be the same. Ngayon, baka matanong mo, Sir, how about this point? Is the pressure at this point and at this point the same? Hindi sila magka-same. They are not the same elevation. Well, in this scenario, the two will not have the same pressure. Bakit po? Bakit kaya magkaiba yung pressure ng dalawang point na yan? Okay? So dahil yan sa tinatawag nating Stevens law. Stevens law. Okay? Where pressure is equal to gamma H. So later on, we will be deriving this formula which will describe the difference in pressure between two points not on the same elevation. So kung magkaiba sila ng height, magkakaiba yung pressure nila. Pero bakit kaya? Because sabi mo, sir, you told us that the pressure is transferred undiminished in all direction. So the primary reasons here, ito ha, tinan nyo, look at this. Point 1 and point 2 lie on the same elevation. Ano lang yung, what is the only force that affects them at this point? The force 1 and the force 2. Okay? Ang nakapatong lang, imagine mo ha, ikaw to, nandito si point 1, nandito si point 2. The only force that is existing or pushing them down are the force 1 and force 2. Now, consider mo yung isang point. Now, consider this point. Itong nasa baba. Ito yung sinasabi natin. Unlike doon sa point 1 and sa point 2, itong point na to, may nakapatong pa dyan maliban kay force 2. Ano po yun? Simple lang. Yung liquid, di ba? May liquid na nakapatong sa taas niya. Yes, in actual, the pressure should have been the same. Parehas lang naman sana talaga yan. Pero dahil may nakapatong yan, kapag nag-summation ka ng force, right? So imagine, this force 1 became pressure, di ba? So this is P1. Initially, ito lang yon. Yan. So, may magtutulak din dyan. Another force. Siyempre, may counteracting dyan. Again, di ba ano yan? All direction. So, i-resist yan. But because of this liquid na nakapatong sa taas niya, may magpapabigat pa. So, madadagdagan yung force dito sa nasa ilalim. That's why their pressure will not be the same dahil lang dun sa nakapatong na weight sa kanila. So, ito lang yung takeaway. As long as they are of the same elevation, okay, and they exist within the same medium of liquid, nasa isang liquid, nasa isang fluid, as long as same ang elevation, they will have equal pressure. So, yun ang Pascal's principle ha. Same elevation, same pressure. Tandaan nyo yan. Importante yon. Same elevation, same pressure. That will be the anchor of our study for this topic. Same elevation, same pressure. Now, let's consider this example. So, consider natin itong example na to. Ayan. This is one of the application of the Pascal's law, and let's see how this works in real life. The mechanics of a pneumatic jack used in a service station is shown in this figure. If the car and lift weighs 5,000 pounds, so yung car and yung lift, itong nakatulak na yan, yan, weighs 5,000 pounds. Determine the force that must be developed by the air compressor at B. So ito yung air compressor, yung point B. So ibig sabihin, meaning this pipe here that travels to this point A all contains gas. So mayroong gas sa loob niyan. The question is, determine the force that must be developed by the air compressor at B to raise the lift at a constant velocity. Air is in the line from B to A. So, air compressor nga kasi, so we will have air from B to A. The air line at B has an inner diameter of 1 inch. So, this small pipe has an inner diameter of 1 inch. And the post at A has diameter of 12 inch. So, this post at A, yung hole na yan, it has a diameter of 12 inch. That is what we are using to lift that car and car lift. 5,000 pounds yung bigat nila. How do we manage or how do we do? How do we solve for this one? So point A, in this elevation right here, according to Pascal's law, should have the same pressure. So the pressure at A in this point, let's call this C, has the same pressure. Okay? Fix yan. That is a fixed principle. Now, because the liquid or the fluid inside this pipe is gas, relatively or relative to liquids, gas mass or the mass or the weight of the gas is negligible. Okay? Magaan, sobrang gaan ng gas. So that's why its weight is negligible. Meaning, even though from point B to point C, we had some height which produces, which causes the gas to have more weight. May bigat kasi yan. Sa totoo lang, may epekto yan sa magiging pressure kay C. But because it is gas and it is lightweight, the pressure at B can be approximated. Pwede na nating sabihin na yung pressure kay B and yung pressure kay C ay equal. Okay? Recall ha, tandaan nyo to. This will be applicable for almost all problems na kasunod. If we are solving for fluid mechanics, the pressure or the weight caused by the gas is usually neglected. The reason for that is because the gas, again, is very light, very light. That's why most of the time it is neglected. Even though you try to include it in the solution, because the answer or the pressure caused by this is very small, it will not affect your final answer at all. So, mas maganda, wag mo na lang isama para hindi ka na mahirapan. Now, it is established that the pressure at B, pressure at C, and pressure at A are equal. With that, tuloy natin yung ating solving. Let us define or let us find the pressure at A. We know that the pressure at A is caused, okay? Apart from knowing that the pressure at A and pressure at B is equal, the pressure at A is caused primarily because of the weight above it. Kung ano yung nakapatong kay A, it has a direct effect on the pressure experienced by point A. Sabi sa atin, the car weighs 500 pounds. So we know the force is, or the pressure is equal to force over area, right? So knowing that the force at A is 5,000 pounds, yan, and the area at A has diameter of 12 inch, right? So we can put the area as pi over 4 diameter squared, 12 squared. So we will have an answer of 5,000 divided by 0.25 pi times 12 squared. Okay. So 44.21. 44.21 pounds per square inch. So that is the pressure at A. And this pressure is equivalent to the pressure at B. Now, the pressure at B has an air compressor. Okay? The question is, what is the force that must be developed at the air compressor? So we will be using this formula. The pressure at B is equivalent to the force at point B over the area at point B. We know that the area at B can be solved using this diameter of 1 inch at the pipe, at that small pipe. So gamitin natin yon. So meron tayong 44.21 is equivalent to the force at B over the area, pi over 4, 1 squared. Okay? So simplifying, the force at B must be equal to 44 times 421 times 0.25 pi. 34.72. 34. 34.72 pounds. Okay? This is your final answer. So this is the most basic application of the Pascal's law. Imagine, yung binubuhat natin, what we want to carry is 5,000 pound, but kinaya natin siyang dalhin ng 34.72 pounds lang yung ginagamit. So, very useful yung Pascal's law sa everyday application. Okay? So, now let's proceed to this next concept, the absolute end gauge pressure. So, what are these two concepts? If a fluid, such as air, were removed from its container, a vacuum would exist. So, kapag tinanggal natin lahat ng laman ng isang container, lahat ng gas, ang mangyayari dun sa nasa loob nun, mapupunta siya sa state ng vacuum, wherein yung pressure ay zero. That particular scenario, ang tawag natin doon, so what we call that is zero absolute pressure. So, see, absolute pressure, the reference is zero. So, all of the pressure na mineasure natin above that point, okay, we call that absolute pressure or P subscript abs. For example, the standard atmospheric pressure, yung PATM, is an absolute pressure. Absolute pressure pa rin siya, but it is measured at sea level. So the pressure at the sea level, which is commonly 101.325 kilopascals, is the absolute pressure above zero. Okay? So 101.3 PABs siya. Ganon siya kataas kumpara sa vacuum. And this pressure is driven or caused by the weight of the air na nakapatong sa atmosphere natin, yung 101.325 na yan. So dahil yan sa mga gases na nag-exist sa atmosphere that is pushing down on us, kaya may pressure tayo. Well, hindi na natin masyadong na-feel yan because we are used to it. Pero meron. So yung vacuum, commonly sa space yan nag-exist. So doon kasi zero talaga yung pressure. So relative sa space, which is vacuum, so yung absolute pressure dito sa Earth is 101.3. Yun naman ay equivalent sa atmospheric pressure. Ngayon, any pressure measured above or below the atmospheric, okay, ang tawag natin doon, gauge pressure. So, hopefully you can wrap your hand around the difference between those three. If it's measured above or below the absolute zero, atmospheric yon. But if we measured a pressure above or below the atmospheric, so ang relative naman natin or yung pinagbabasihan natin ay atmospheric pressure or yung nasa sea level, yun naman ay gauge pressure ang tawag. So, Gauges are often used to measure pressure relative to the atmospheric pressure. Ang relationship ng tatlong yon is given by this formula. Ayan. Okay? So, si absolute pressure is equivalent to yung atmospheric plus yung gauge. Example, meron tayong 60 gauge pressure. Punta muna tayo dito. Ayan. We are given P gauge. Sabi sa atin, you have P gauge equivalent to 60 kilopascal or 60 units. Remember that 60 kilopascal is the pressure relative to the standard atmospheric pressure. So nakabase yan sa standard. Ibig sabihin, if the standard pressure lies around here, yung 60, mas mataas siya ng positive 60 kumpara dun sa 101.325. Okay? Ibig sabihin, mas mataas ng 60 sa 101.325. Ngayon, kung gusto natin makuha yung absolute, we add those two. 60 plus 101.325. Similarly, kung negative naman, if we have a negative 40 gauge, it only means that the pressure we have is negative 40 kilopascal lower than the standard atmospheric. So we tend to, yes, we still add. But because it is negative, di ba? Positive, kapag multiply natin sa negative, hindi nagiging minus. So we subtract that pressure. So yung lower, the lowest we can get in the absolute pressure is 0. But for gauge, we can have a negative value. On the other hand, for the atmospheric pressure or PETM, this is fixed or we have constant values na nasolve na. Under normal conditions at sea level, so these are constant values for atmospheric pressure, which is recommended that you memorize. So recommended to memorize. So we have 14.7 psi, pound per square inches, 760 mmHg. So anong ibig sabihin nito? So this is the height of the liquid that occurs using the mercury barometer. So we will discussing that a bit, in a bit. And then in kilopascal, that is 101.325. Okay, so hopefully that is clear. Now let's proceed to this mercury barometer. Mercury barometer, we use this to measure pressure changes. So this is typically the common method in measuring pressure noong unang panahon. So right now or today, we have digital measurements or lots of ways to measure pressure. But how does mercury barometers work? So we have this figure here that shows a tube with a mercury inside. Part of the tube is exposed to the atmosphere, while the inside of the tube is in a vacuum. This part, no? Nasa vacuum siya. Kapag nilagay natin yan, or itong particular setup na to, in this particular setup, you will notice that on the part of the liquid exposed to the atmosphere, air pressure, the pressure we are talking about this in this scenario is the 101.325, for example, the standard atmospheric pressure. So that is pushing down here. Now, in turn with that, the liquid usually tries its best, okay, to find that hydrostatic equilibrium. So ang ginagawa ng liquid natin, hindi kasi niya kaya or hindi niya or natural rather for liquid to find the hydrostatic equilibrium. What do we mean by that? The pressure here, 'di ba sabi natin sa Pascal's law, the pressure at any point of the liquid should be equal, 'di ba? Sabi sa atin. Now, this part here, yung nasa loob ng tube, and yung nasa labas, dapat kasi equal sila ng pressure. But Sir, how do they do that? Paano nila gagawin yon kung yung nasa labas exposed sa air, yung nasa loob exposed sa vacuum? 'Di ba? Ganoon ang nangyayari ng una. So, ang gagawin ni Mercury ngayon to balance that pressure para mangyari yung Pascal's law. Kasi law yun eh. Pag sinabi nating Pascal's law, observable by nature. So that's what happens if we left things on their own. So gagawa sila ng paraan para ma-achieve yung equilibrium defined by that law. Eh di yun nga, 'di ba? Sabi natin dapat mag-equal sila. So ang gagawin ni Mercury, yung vacuum na yan, i-fill niya ng sarili niyang liquid. So yung Mercury na yan, aangat. Okay? So aangat na yun yan. So kapag umangat na yan, what will happen? This point, dahil may nakapatong na liquid sa kanya, alam mo na ang mangyayari, di ba? Ikaw, patungan kita ng kung anong sa ulo mo, di ba? So, bibigat yan, magkakaroon na ng pressure. Ngayon, yung height ng liquid, natataas kapag naka-expose lang siya sa standard atmospheric pressure or sa sea level, yun ay 76 centimeter. Or kung i-convert natin, yan ay equivalent sa 760 mm. So, ang ibig sabihin nito nandito, 760 mm of mercury, hindi ba yung Hg? Right? So, ito kasi yung equivalent, ito yung lalabas sa mercury barometer kapag nakalagay yung barometer sa sea level lang. Okay? So, pag nakita niyo yung 760 mm Hg, yan yung reading sa mercury barometer. So, equivalent yan sa 101.325 kilopascals. Okay, hopefully that is clear sa atin. Okay. Okay, so let's solve for this another example. The air pressure within the bicycle tire is determined from a gauge to be 10 psi. So this 10 psi is a gauge pressure. Yan. If the local atmospheric pressure is 12.6 psi, now for most problems, if the atmospheric pressure is not defined or not given, we will automatically use this pressure or this atmospheric pressure under normal conditions at sea level. So that's why it is recommended to be memorized. Kung walang given, ito yung gagamitin natin. But for example, in this problem, the local atmospheric is given, so we will be using the given, right? So PATM is equal to 12.6 psi. So determine the absolute pressure in the tire. Okay, determine the absolute pressure in the tire. So how do we do this? So first solve to the absolute pressure. So we will have 10 plus 12.6 psi. So that is 10 plus 12.6, 22.6 psi. So actually, if the problem asks for the answer in PSI, this is your answer already. Pero dahil nga ang pinapahanap ay nasa pascals, so we will be converting this value into pascals. So what is the conversion? PSI. So first, right, the fastest way to do this is to remember what is the conversion factor between these two. Okay, so let us recall the conversion factor from PSI to kilopascal. But if you forgot that, you can use the conversion from the fact that we know 14.7 PSI is equivalent to 101.325 kilopascal. 'Di ba? Alam natin that 14.7 PSI is equivalent to 1 atmosphere, the standard at sea level. And also equivalent to 101.325 kilopascal. Of course, this is not the right way to do this because we have actual conversion and yung sagot na to will differ slightly on what is the actual. So, kung gagamit tayo ng tamang solution, the answer could be could have been different in decimal lang naman. So, maliit lang naman. But to help you remember the standard atmospheric pressure, we will be using this conversion factor. Okay? So, convert. Let's convert. 14.7 psi is equivalent to 101.325. So, with this, we can have 22.6 times 101.325 divided by 14.7. So we will have 155.78 kilopascal, and this is your final answer. Okay? Quite easy, right? So that is the absolute atmospheric and gauge pressure. Let's proceed to the next slide. Yeah. So this is the static pressure variation. Static pressure variation, the formula that we will be deriving at this point will tell us the difference in pressure between 2 points. 2 points on different elevation. So for example, we have this point 1 that lies at this part here and point 2 lying below point 1. So the formula actually to define the difference in elevation between 2 points, the change in P or the P2 or P1 minus P2 can be solved using this formula, gamma times height. Gamma is the fluid existing between those 2 points or yung medium, and height is the vertical height. Note that H is not the slant. Hindi yung slant yung H ha. Tingnan nyo dito sa diagram natin. H is actually the vertical distance. So, straight. Alright? So, regardless kung anong pa sikot-sikot yung ginagawa ng mga points natin, yung vertical height, yung titingnan natin. So, that is the formula to check yung difference in pressure between those 2 points. So, what we will be doing today is to derive yung gamma H na yan. Paano natin nakuha? Saan galing si gamma H? Okay? So, consider this elementary prism. So, when we say elementary prism, ano example ng elementary prism? Itong ballpen na lang. Okay. This ballpen. Although, of course, this is not really the ideal example. When we say elementary prism, the other side, okay, both side, kumbaga, yan, pareha siya ng area. Meaning, from this point to this point, they have the same area. Kumbaga, constant yung area from all points along the length of this shape of this prism. So, yun lang naman na ibig sabihin. From point 1 to point 2, the area is constant. So, yun ang elementary prism. Now, because this prism is submerged in the liquid, okay, we are sure that a force caused by the water, of course, exists at those two ends. Okay? May tumutulak dyan. Okay? There are pressure. And yung pressure na yan ay caused by the water at point 2 and at point 1. Those pressure, tawagin nating pressure 1. Let's call them pressure 1 and pressure 2. And those pressure are gauge. Gauge pressure. Okay? Tandaan natin ha, those pressure are gauge pressure. Meaning, they will be measured relative to, to this liquid surface. Okay, so hopefully that is clear. They are gauge pressure. Before we continue, let us check the anatomy of our system. The elemental prism is slant. Nakatagilid. Hindi nakatayo ha. Nakatagilid. Yan. So the reason for this is to generalize the behavior para ma-generalize natin, ma-apply natin sa lahat. Kasi kapag nakatayo lang yan, paano natin malalaman kapag nakatagilid na, di ba? Pag nakatagilid kasi, general na yan. So, kahit nakatayo, nakatuwad, parehas lang yung formula na gagamitin natin. Usually, kapag nakatayo, mas madali yung pag-solve. Pag nakatagilid, syempre, mas mahirap. May mga angle na eh. Di ba? Now, let's identify the forces that is acting on this object. Usually, kapag nagde-derive tayo ng formula, the first step is to define or to identify the forces. If you can remember, during the time when we derived the formula for the capillary rise, last the lesson, what we did at the start is identify the forces as well. What are the forces acting on the system? 'Di ba? Ganun ang ginawa natin. Ganun din ngayon. What are the forces acting on this elementary prism? Ano po 'yon? Yung weight and the force due to water. Yun lang, wala nang iba. Of course, in real life, there are there are possible na mga scenario pa na mangyari. But, syempre, hindi na natin consider yon. Let's simplify kung ano talaga yung mga major na force na tumatama sa ating prism. So, we have the force due to water or hydrostatic pressure or hydrostatic force and the weight of the prism itself. Okay? So, let us continue. Now, it is important to note that the prism is at rest. Okay? At rest. So, meaning, when an object is at rest sa statics, that object must be in equilibrium. So, all forces, all summation of forces at all direction, x, y, and z, they must be equal or they must be zero, the summation of force. Another thing is, this prism is actually filled with the liquid. So baka isipin mo, so you might thought, sir, that prism is an actual solid. So the gamma you will be using there is the gamma of the prism. But it is important to note that this prism is filled with the liquid. So we actually just took an elementary prism out of this whole system. So kumbaga yung buong sea of liquid na yan, we took an elementary prism, okay, with the given shape, with the constant area, and filled with the liquid. So kung ano man yung liquid na to nasa labas, yan din yung laman ng prism. So we can say that the prism is hollow. So ganun na lang, pwede mong isipin na ganun. The prism is hollow. But in actual, that prism is actually filled with liquid. So yung gagamitin nating gamma to check, to get the weight of the prism later on is gamma of the liquid. Okay, that is to prove this formula. Just to prove the difference in the pressure between those 2 points. Siyempre, kapag ito kasi ay iba na yung gamang ginamit natin dyan, hindi na natin ma-represent. What if walang prism sa part na to? Okay? Kumbaga, in actual, this whole system, parang walang nakalagay dyan. Naglagay lang tayo ng prism para ma-define natin yung area and yung pressure. Kasi nga yung pressure, di ba, ay force over area. We need a finite shape. Yun ang purpose nun. A finite shape, but still, yung shape na yon is made of the same liquid. Okay, so hopefully that is clear. Finite shape, elementary prism, but same liquid. Okay, let's proceed. Now, what we will be doing at this point is to do summation of forces. Now, since the system is slanted, okay, inclined, it will be simpler if we took or if we rotate this particular system. So instead of being slanted like this, we rotate it horizontal and make it horizontal. So gawin natin nakahiga. Sir, kapag nakahiga na, anong mangyayari? Now, note that this first one will have this direction. So, kumbaga, inikot lang natin ha. So, hopefully, hindi kayo nalilito. Nakaganto, di ba siya? Nakaganto. Ano? Ginano natin. Yun. Okay? So, yung first one, nandito na. The first two is here. How about the weight? Initially, the weight is directly downward. So, when we rotate, yung weight na yan, susunod yan. Yes, this is the weight acting at an angle theta. Hopefully, that is okay sa inyo and you are not confused why this become theta. Well, nandiyan naman na sa figure, but this particular scenario where this angle is equivalent to this angle can be proved easily using trigonometry. And if you are confused about that right now, you can do your own research as to why this happened. Okay? Hopefully, it will become automatic to all of you that this angle theta is equivalent to this angle. So, ito na yan. Naging ito na. Ngayon, dahil ganito na yung kanyang setup, naka-horizontal na lang, di ba? Madali na. Madali na nating gagawin yung summation ng force. Saan? Horizontal. Okay? We will do summation of forces horizontal. Oops. Is this it? Alright. Ayan. Ayan. So, let's do summation of forces horizontal. Summation of forces horizontal. So, is equal to 0. And let's say direction to the left is equivalent to the forces going to the right. Okay. So, we will have force 2 is equivalent to force 1 plus W sine theta, right? Because this component, this force has two components, one horizontal and one vertical. We need the horizontal one. So, yun ay opposite ng angle. So, sine theta. We can simplify this so that the two forces will be on the other side and weight is on the other side. It will become force 2 minus force 1 is equivalent to W sine theta. Recall natin. Pressure is equal to force over area, meaning force is equal to pressure times area. Diba? Okay. Meaning this force 2 is equivalent to pressure at point 2 times area minus pressure at point 1 times area. Now, the area should be the same. Dapat parehas yan. Bakit? Again, recall, this is an elementary prism, meaning the area is constant all throughout the liquid, this prism. Mula doon hanggang doon, pare-parehas yung area. So, from point 1 and point 2, the area should be the same. Now, this is equivalent to W sine theta. Recall again, W is, or let's make it simpler, gamma is equal to weight over volume, meaning weight is equal to gamma times volume. Because the weight here is made up of the liquid na bumubuo sa prism, meaning the gamma here should be the gamma of the liquid. So kung ano yung liquid na to, which is yun din naman yung liquid na to, so kung water yung nasa itong lahat ng liquid na yan, water din yung bumubuo sa prism. Kasi nga, made of the existing liquid, yung prism. So we will have here gamma times V. So pasimplihin na natin ha, pag sinabi natin gamma na to, kung ano man yung medium natin. So whatever liquid is there, yun na yung gamma. Volume times sine theta. And simplify natin, gamma, volume is simply, hopefully recall natin sa geometry, volume is equivalent to area times length. Bakit? Naalala mo yung cylinder? Let's have a cylinder. Ano yung area ng cylinder? 'Di ba? Pi r squared, yung bilog. Ano yung height? 'Di ba ito na yung length? That is h. So this part is area, This height is the length. Okay, so general form yan ng pagkuha ng volume ng elementary prism. Area times length. Basta constant yung area all throughout, applicable yung formula na to ng volume. Area times height or times length. Now, the area is constant all throughout, di ba? So we can say this volume is equivalent to area times length. So area times length sine theta. But L, right? We know that H is equal to L sine theta. Wherein yung L, siya po yung length natin from point 2 hanggang point 1. Okay? And yung vertical height is basically equivalent to that length sine theta. Hopefully hindi kayo confused dyan ha, kasi triangle lang po yan. So we have this triangle. Ano? Yan. So yung opposite na yun, which is yung height, is equivalent to the hypotenuse L sine ng angle theta. So simplify natin again. We will have here, dito na natin ilagay, pressure 2 times area minus pressure 1 times area is equivalent to gamma times area. Yung L natin, from this equation, isolate natin si L. So L will become H over sine theta. Hopefully, hindi kayo na-confuse dyan. Check nyo lang. Ayun. Yan. Alright? L is equal to H over sine theta. Oops. So, L, palitan natin. H over sine theta multiply to sine theta. By looking at this expression or on this equation, may mga pwede tayong i-cancel. Sino yung mga pwedeng i-cancel? Yung sine theta, pwedeng ma-cancel. Yung area, sir, pag dinivide natin yung buong equation sa area, we can cancel the area. We will be left with, by this equation, pressure 2 minus pressure 1 is equivalent to gamma times H, wherein simply, this pressure 2 and pressure 1 is the pressure at point 1 and point 2. Basically, the difference in pressure. Diba? So, dyan na galing yung formula natin na gamma H. So, this is also called the Stevens law. The Stevens law. Yan. Stevens law. Yan. Pero, yan yun na. Limot na yun si Stevens. Matanda na kasi. Pero, gamma H. Okay? Now, what if we simply want to solve for the pressure at point 2? Ano ba? Gusto lang natin kunin yung pressure sa point 2. Wala tayong pakialam sa point 1. Okay? If we want to solve for the pressure point at point 2, basically, yung gauge pressure, di ba sabi sa atin, yung P1 and P2 are gauge pressure. If we want to solve for the gauge pressure at point 2, saan natin siya ngayon i-reference? Yes po, dun sa surface ng liquid. Di ba? Kasi nga, yung liquid surface, yan yung pinaka reference point ng gauge, di ba? Galing siya sa atmosphere. Now, ano ang gauge pressure sa surface ng water or liquid surface? 0 po. Sir, bakit 0? Di ba ang gauge nakabase nga sa atmospheric? Saan ba ang atmospheric? Nasa surface. Kung nasa surface din natin mini-measure yung gauge, edi 0 yung kanyang value relative sa surface. Hopefully that is clear, ha? Meaning, at the atmosphere, the absolute. So yung 101.325, absolute yun. Pero yung gauge, 0. Okay? So kung gusto nating i-check ang difference in pressure between point 2 and point 1, so tanggalin mo yung isip na ang point 1 ay nandito. What if yung point 1 natin nasa liquid surface? So imagine mo to, ha? Yung P1 magiging ano? Yes po, di ba 0 ang gauge doon sa surface? So kung gusto mo lang kunin ang pressure sa point 2, that can be solved by gamma H. As long as yung isang point na kino-consider mo ay yung liquid surface. Importanteng ma-absorb nyo yung particular concept na yun, ha? Kapag galing sa liquid surface, dahil nga yung point 1 ay magiging 0 na, we can simply say na yung pressure at point 2 is equivalent to gamma H. So, dyan, iikot. Dyan kasi yung anchor ng ating magiging mga discussion sa susunod hanggang padulo ng hydraulics. Okay, hopefully this is clear to you. Aralin yung maigi yung derivation, intindihin nyo kung paano siya nagwo-work, and it might be helpful to you. So, pagtiyagaan nyo na intindihin. Okay? So, that's it for the derivation for the static pressure variation. Again, application lang nito ay para sa static pressure. So, kapag at rest yung liquid natin. So, ito na yon, mas atin lang palinawin. Medyo magulo na yung sulat sa kabila. Okay, for pressure variation for incompressible fluids, again, yung liquid, yung water, incompressible yun, ha? And actually, most ng liquids na aralin natin sa hydraulics, if not all, ay incompressible. Kasi nga pag compressible or nakakompress na yung liquid, mahirap na yung solution dahil marami nang i-consider. So, dapat incompressible lang. Ganoon naman sa real life. Okay? So, for convenience, for convenience, the reference level is usually established at the free surface of the liquid. So, para madali ang buhay. Kasi nga kapag hindi doon, kailangan nating gawing laging ganito, P2 minus P1. And may value yung P1. So, for convenience, dahil nga sa surface ng liquid, ang gauge ay 0, dito sa surface, so, ang nangyayari, given that the formula, pag nilipat mo yan sa kabila, magiging P minus P0 yan, ha? Similar lang yan sa na-derive natin kanina. So, because P0 is equal to PATM, where the atmospheric pressure is equivalent to 0 gauge pressure, ultimately, the pressure is equivalent to gamma H. The pressure at this point, yan, is gamma H. Right? Hopefully, ma-absorb nyo yan. Okay. Next is the pressure head. So the pressure head is the height of a liquid column. Okay? Wrap your head around this term, ha. Kailangan nating maintindihan si pressure head. So, yung pressure head, if we manipulate the formula pressure is equal to gamma H, you will arrive to this formula. H is equal to pressure over the liquid, gamma of the liquid, or unit weight of the liquid. So, ano si pressure head? Indicates the height of a column of liquid that produces the gauge pressure P. So, halimbawa, gusto nating malaman, ano ba yung height ng water na magkukos ng ganitong pressure? Yung height na yon, siya si pressure head. Or example, sige, sabi dito, if ang gauge pressure ay 50, gusto nating malaman, gaano kataas kaya na water height na pag in-stack natin, magkukos ng 50 kilopascal. Again, di ba, pag inipon-ipon natin yung liquid niyan, bibigat yan, magkukos yun ng pressure. And, base din sa Stevens law, may relationship yung vertical height dun sa pressure na nakukos. So, we manipulate that. So, yung 5.10 and 0.376 for mercury, yun ay pressure heads. Okay? So, those are what we call pressure head. Ngayon, there are ways to convert from one pressure head to another. So for example, ang binigay sa iyo, you have 0.376 meters of mercury, mHg. Ang tanong, ilan kaya yan kapag ginawa nating water? May mga ganun kasing scenario. Ang binigay sa atin, meron tayong mercury na 0.376 meter. Gaano kaya siya kataas pag naging water? Siyempre, magkukos dapat siya ng same pressure. So, kunin natin yung formula, di ba? Both of them should produce 50 kilopascal. Alright? And based on the formula, gamma ng mercury and height ng mercury, sana po galing yon, ito na yon, should be equal to 50 kilopascal. And at the same time, for water, gamma of water and height of water should be equal to 50 kilopascal to cause the same pressure. Now, if we want to convert from mercury to water, we can manipulate this equation, these two, and we can simply say unit weight of mercury times height of mercury over unit weight of water should be equivalent to height of water. So hopefully nakikita nyo na you understand how to convert from one pressure head to another. Syempre, given na sa atin yung height ng mercury, okay, the unit weight of mercury, of course, and the unit weight of water, by applying this formula, we can get the height of water. But there is an easier way to convert from head of mercury to head of water, or simply from any liquid to water. There is a fast way. So let's recall. Okay? Let's recall that unit weight is equal to rho times gravity. Okay? What else? We can also recall that unit weight of any liquid, let's say unit weight of L, is equivalent to Sg of the liquid times unit weight of water. Hopefully, you can recall this formula. Okay? Unit weight of liquid is equal to Sg of liquid times unit weight of water. On the other hand, the unit weight of water should be equivalent to a specific gravity of water, wherein that specific gravity of water is, di ba, 1 lang naman yan. Kasi nga, si water naman ang reference liquid natin. Alright? Multiply to the unit weight of water. Okay. How can we make use of this knowledge? So let us manipulate this existing equation that we have. See, unit weight of mercury, we can rewrite that as, okay, unit weight of liquid, unit weight of mercury. Palitan natin ha, magiging specific gravity ng mercury, okay, times unit weight of water. So this unit weight of mercury will become this times height of mercury, equivalent to unit weight of water, whereas this unit weight of water is equivalent to this one, specific gravity of water times unit weight of water times height of water. Now observe, cancel. If you want to isolate the height of water, thereby converting from the height of mercury to height of water, ito yung matitirang equation sa atin. The equation will become the specific gravity of mercury, height of mercury over specific gravity of water. Sana na-realize nyo na agad. Sir, di ba 1.0 to? So ultimately, if you want to convert from any liquid to water, using the specific gravity, we can simply do this. A specific gravity of the liquid times the height of the liquid is equal to the height of water. Kasi nga, yung i-divide naman natin, 1 lang din. This formula is very useful and important. So hopefully, you use this and matandaan nyo. To convert from any liquid to water, we simply multiply its specific gravity. So times lang natin yung gravity niya, specific gravity niya dun sa kanyang height, convert na natin siya sa height ng water. Okay? Hopefully that is clear. Okay, now let's continue to the next part. So what do we do? Now, what do we do if we have this scenario wherein we have a tank or a container wherein layers of fluid exist. So, magkakapatong sila. For example, the problems wants us to solve para dun sa pressure. So, the problem wants us to find the pressure at the bottom. We simply do summation of gamma times height. Gamma is the unit weight of the liquid. times height above that point na pinag-uusapan natin. So, yung nasa bottom, ano yung mga liquid na nasa taas niya? Liquid 1, 2, and 3. So, we simply do gamma times H. So, ipag-add lang natin, as you can see here. This P sub O at the start, that pertains for any air pressure existing usually at the highest point, dun sa pinakataas. Kasi nga, yung air, siya naman yung pinakamagaan, di ba? So, usually, siya yung nasa pinakataas. So, isasama natin yon if there is any. Now, this is only applicable for closed tanks. Ngayon, sir, paano po if the container or the tank is exposed or open to the atmosphere? What happens? Note that when an object or when a liquid is exposed to the surface or the atmosphere, basically, okay, exposed to surface meaning exposed atmosphere. Recall natin that the P gauge, that the gauge pressure at the atmosphere or at sea level is equivalent to, yes, 0. Then, ultimately, if it's open tank, this part here, the P sub O term, usually ini-equate na natin yan sa 0. So, tatandaan nyo yan. Kapag atmosphere, the pressure or the gauge pressure, to be exact, is equivalent to 0. Ngayon, sir, what do we do if the pressure we want to solve is not the one at the bottom? So, hindi yung sa bottom ang gusto natin kunin. What if ang gusto po namin yung nandito lang? Still the same. Except, right now, the liquid 3, hindi na natin kasama. Hindi na natin siya isasama. So, we will only sum up all the liquid layers above that point. So, yung nasa taas lang nung point in question, yung isasama natin sa summation ng gamma H. Okay? Hopefully, that is clear. And so, madali lang to. And we will try answering this one with an example. So, try natin mas paintindihan. Okay? Ayan. So, we have this example. An open tank. Okay? An open tank contains a 5.8 meter layer of water covered by a layer of kerosene. So, yan na yung kanina, di ba? May layer. Determine the gauge pressure at the interface. Pag sinabing interface, for example, ito yung layer ng kerosene, ito yung layer ng water. Di ba, syempre yung kerosene mas magaan sa water. Nakita niyo naman ang kanyang density, di ba? Unit weight niya, 8 kilonewton. Yung water, 9.81. So, si water, naturally, magsisink yan, mas mababa. So, yung interface na tinutukoy natin, yung pagitan nila. Ito, yan. So, this is the interface. If this is kerosene, this is water, the interface shall be the boundary between those two liquids. The point wherein the liquid changes from kerosene to water. Okay. So, let us illustrate this one. So, example, we have this tank. Right? We have the tank. The water, okay, consider natin that this tank is open as indicated in the problem. The tank is an open tank, meaning this upper part is exposed to the atmosphere. Hopefully that is clear. Let's say this is water, water until this, kerosene. The kerosene is lighter. Mas magaan yung kerosene, siya nasa taas. So, si kerosene pala tayo, ang kerosene. Let's say care. 8 kilonewton per cubic meter. Then we have here H2O. So, 9.81. Again, recall natin. Let's recall. The unit weight of water is 9.81 in kilonewton per cubic meter. So, the first thing that the problem wants us to solve for is the gauge pressure at the interface. Where is the interface? This point. So, to find the pressure at this point, let's call this point A. So, the pressure at A will be equivalent to the pressure above A, which is P sub O plus summation gamma H. Now, what is this PO? Yan po yung air pressure. That P sub O is the air pressure above point A. or above the surface, which is this point. Okay, nandito yung air pressure. Now, open yung tank. The tank is exposed to the atmosphere, meaning this P sub O is equivalent to PATM, wherein at sea level, this PATM is equivalent to 0 gauge. So ultimately, this is 0 and we can cancel that out. Meaning, the gamma H we'll be finding the sum is simply this liquid above point A. Isa lang naman po yung liquid sa taas ng A. So siya na yon. So 5.8 ang water. So we are trying to look at this kerosene. So kerosene yung nasa taas. So kerosene is the one above the water. So it shall be the one contributing to the pressure at A. 3.2 times 8. So 25.6 kPa, that is the answer for the first one. Now, how about at the bottom of the tank? Let's call this point B. Well, we do the similar approach. Pressure O plus summation gamma H. Right. The pressure at the surface, again, is 0 plus gamma, first, the kerosene, plus the one made up of water. So the water is 5.8 meters high. So multiply that to 9.81. So we will be having an answer of 3 times 8 plus 5.8 times 9.82. So we will have 82.5 kPa. So hopefully that is clear. This is quite simple. So do not overthink. This is it. We simply summize the pressures from the highest point, usually air or atmosphere, then to the bottom, to the point wherein the pressure is being asked. Okay? So hopefully that is clear, because this will be the end of the first part of this topic. So we will be having another part which will be covered, okay, in the next video. So this next part will tackle the measurement of static pressure, basically, or more specifically, the manometers. Okay, the manometers. How do we solve the manometer problem, and then other applications of pressure. So hopefully you are doing great there. So thank you so much for listening, for watching. Good luck sa inyong mga pag-aaral.